Chapter 21. A Lifetime Alone. It had been several years since Lucinda, Ruby, and Martha had settled Gothel into her new home and then left her alone to flounder and blunder her way through her new provincial life with the ever loyal and diligent Mrs. Tittlebottom, handling everything that might have otherwise occupied or distracted Gothel from her loneliness. They had even taken their cat, Flance, who, like her mistresses, was eager to see what would become of the odd sister's little sister, Circe. To Gothel it was a lifetime. Gothel had felt abandoned in those first months. The sisters and Flance had flown off in some invisible house to attend to matters far more important than Gothel, leaving her alone and defenseless with no magic. Before the sisters left, Gothel's house had been thoroughly searched. Every single item that had been packed by Jacob was examined. Gothel and the odd sisters even pulled down every book to see if it had been hollowed out to hide Gothel's mother's blood. And after the sisters left, Gothel searched every item again just to be sure, because she had nothing else to do. She even emptied every chest of gold, not bothering to put the coins back in their places. The blood simply wasn't there. It was gone, just like everything else in her life. She felt her life had no meaning, no purpose. Even if she could wake her sisters, she wondered if that was what they would really want, and she wondered if they would be happy in that house with its floral wallpaper and delicate furnishings. She remembered the day she had tried to bring her sisters back with the help of the odd sisters in the dead woods. The horrible scene flashed through her mind like a jolt. Please, let us die. No, maybe it was best to let her sisters rest. Maybe it was time Gothel rested as well. Gothel desperately wanted to see her sisters again, even if it meant being confronted by her mother. There was nothing for her here, nothing but endless solitude, flower patterned wallpaper, and something close to grief that she was not allowed to fully experience because the odd sisters had taken that from her also. In her solitude, she began to dislike the odd sisters. They refused to come no matter how many ravens she sent, begging them to return. Her memory of them became distorted. Her loneliness started to twist her mind. The longer they were away and the more letters they sent to say they couldn't come to see her, the more her love for them diminished. She started to distrust them, almost hate them. The odd sisters started to come in and go out of focus in her mind, changing from the girls she had known in the dead forest, the friends and sisters she had grown to love, to these creatures she'd invented. She couldn't tell them apart anymore. When the odd sisters did take time to write her, their letters were singularly obsessed with trying to save that sister of theirs, that Circe, and she wondered if it wasn't all just lies. They sent endless letters about her, endless updates, flowery, poetic letters, full of grief, worry, and love. Over the years, the tone of the letters started to change, becoming less coherent and more disjointed. They said they'd finally devised a way to bring their sister back, a difficult spell they'd been working on for many years. They promised they would return as soon as they could. Gothel continued to plead for them to come to her, even in her distrust for them. She had no one else but them. And of course, Mrs. Tittlebottom, who did her best to make Gothel happy, but no matter how Gothel pleaded with the odd sisters to return, there was always some reason they couldn't. First it was the matter of Circe, and then it was some nonsense about a dragon fairy witch. It all sounded like twaddle to Gothel, like a fairy tale you told a child. And she started to wonder if Jacob had been right. She started to wonder if all this was their fault, and she wondered if her mother's vision had been correct. After all, her sisters hadn't become dreadfully ill until the odd sisters arrived for the solstice. It was as if they had appeared in the dead woods right out of the ether. Under some pretense they were there to help, insisting they somehow knew Gothel needed them. Well, now it all sounded like rubbish. All of it. She needed the odd sisters, and they were nowhere to be found. Everything concerning them seemed suspect to her now that she was old and ready to go into the mists. Now that there was nothing left for her in the world to love or care for, she hadn't bothered using the flower. There were deep lines around her eyes, and her hair was starting to turn silver. It was a blessing Mrs. Tittlebottom was far-sighted. She often remarked that Gothel had become a soft blur, though she still managed to bustle around the kitchen and tend to her duties. But Gothel could see herself clearly in her bedroom mirror, and had come to the conclusion that she had to have been asleep for a very long time in the dead woods, long enough for the entire landscape to change, long enough for the frightening tales of the Queen of the Dead to vanish and no longer inspire fear or respect. Long enough for Gothel to age considerably without the help of the flower, and she was thankful. The older she was, the sooner she would die. Soon I will be done with this world I despise and mistrust. Soon my light will vanish like my sister's. Stop this nonsense, said Lucinda, swooping into Gothel's garden like a wild harpy. I won't have any such thoughts flooding your head. What? Said Gothel, looking at Lucinda with surprise. No, we can't have our little witch contemplating such foolishness, said Martha, joining her sister, hovering over Gothel. Yes, what would your sisters do if you left them? Said Ruby, also appearing out of nowhere. Gothel stared at the odd sisters, wondering if they were real. They don't quite fit in this setting, she thought. Then again, neither did she. Oh, I assure you we are real, said Lucinda, laughing. We are very real, indeed. I can't believe you're actually here, said Gothel, not trusting her senses. Why do you look so old? Where is the flower? Why haven't you been using it? Asked Lucinda. You haven't lost it, have you? Asked Ruby. No, it's still hidden among the yellow wildflowers out there somewhere. She motioned to the field of wildflowers. Are you sure? Asked Ruby, fretting and trying to spot it among all the other yellow flowers. Yes, of course I am. Why? Do you want to take that from me as well? What are you talking about? We're here to help you, Gothel, said Lucinda, clearly hurt by Gothel's words. You're here to help me, really, after all this time. Now that I'm ready to die, I don't want to live in this world. I don't want to suffer in it alone. I can't have my sisters back, and I will never have my mother's magic. There's nothing to live for. Gothel, get up at once and come with us to the field. You will use the flower's magic to make yourself young again, and we will find a way to bring your sisters back. I promised we would help you, and we will. We have been fighting for our own sister's life. I don't believe you. Don't you? Would you believe me if I told you we put our lives at risk and scoured the ruins of your home in the dead woods to find your mother's blood? Asked Lucinda, her hand on her hip. You did? Yes, Gothel. You know we love you. Look, said Lucinda, holding a small glass vial of blood in the palm of her hand. This isn't my mother's blood. This isn't the right bottle. The original was broken. Most of it was spilled on the floor of the vault. I salvaged what I could and brought it straight to you. You have been on our minds all these years, Gothel. I'm sorry time moved slowly for you in this place. I'm sorry you let yourself wither away, but time works differently for us. We don't know why. Now please, take this blood, Gothel. Be the witch you're meant to be. Will it work? There's only one way to find out.